Smokies Edibles now has the real deal Delta 9 edibles on their website. Order them now. Smokies.com. That's SMOKIEZ.com. Use promo code LEGENDARY for a discount and get yourself some Smokies Edibles. Check them out. Bam.
Hey, I'm Bella Lexi, and I'm here for the Anthony Rogers Show, and we are about to walk into Chicago Exotica.
Hey guys, what's up? This is Sean from Smile Empty Soul here in beautiful St. Louis, Missouri at Firebrand Recording, which is a wonderful studio here, tracking our new record, Swan Song, which will start to be released one song at a time here in probably about June, and then the whole thing will come out at the end of the year. So keep your ears peeled for it and check it out when it comes out.
So I'm Dennis with the Anthony Rogers Show podcast. My question for you is, what would you do if you became president to help the working class?
Well, I think the principal thing right now is housing. That the price of housing is going up, and it's beyond the reach of most American families.
Along with oil and gas and food.
Inflation is hurting everybody. And inflation is more complex. I can't say that I'm going to stop inflation overnight. What I can say is that I'm going to stop the long-term cause of inflation. I'm going to unravel the war machine. I'm going to reduce dramatically healthcare costs by ending the chronic disease.
Hey, it's your favorite comedian, Anthony Rogers, live in his tour bus, yeah. But also, you need to get a beard like this. People have been talking. They said your shit looks whack. It looks weird. They can't tell your pronouns. You need to get a beard like this right now. And the only way to do that is by using luxurious bastard beard oil. Great smell, great function, great everything. Just get this. And there's directions on how to use it if you know how to read. But use the link in the description. Go to the website. Use promo code LEGENDARY. Get a discount. Do it. Thank you. Boom. Welcome back to your favorite podcast in the entire universe. Today we have something kind of cool. I don't know if we've actually had a ventriloquist on before. I don't know, but I'm fascinated by it, and kind of a cool form of entertainment. As a comedian, I'm kind of drawn towards any kind of entertainment that's interesting and unique. And I think this, this lady looks like she's done a lot of stuff. Her name's April Brucker, and she's a ventriloquist. How are you doing?
I'm good. Better now that I'm talking to you. And by the way, if I use that oil, can I get a beard like yours? I can kind of.
I think
read.
so. I think so. Yeah, if you could, as long as you can kind of read, yeah, you should be able to. Yeah. It should work on everybody. Cats, women, mermaids. It should work on everybody.
Yeah, I could lead the mermaid parade. I saw the promo. I thought I got a kick out of it. So anyway, as we were.
That's kind of funny because I watch most whenever that I can see everybody behind the scenes, and everybody every guest I have on smirks at that whenever I'm talking shit on that ad. I see them all smirk or laugh or something at least.
Yeah, and I thought it was creative. I'm like, he's funny. You know how some people call themselves comedians and they don't know how to write a joke? And then they get a podcast, and then you're really like, honey, you don't know comedy. You know comedy. I'm an Anthony Rogers fan, if it counts for anything,
Well, I appreciate that, April. That's super kind. I appreciate that. I appreciate the heck out of that. In a world that's very negative, I really appreciate the uplifting nature of you. I think you have a good vibe. So I have a bunch of questions. I don't think I've ever talked to a ventriloquist in my entire life, and I'm fascinated by the art. To be honest, it's very interesting, and you can't see your mouth move at all. You're like a professional. I watched a lot of your videos and stuff, and did a little homework, and I watched these videos, and I'm like, you are a pro. So how does one learn how to do this? Throw your voice and stuff. Or how did you do it rather? How did you start out?
Okay, well, that's actually a crazy story. And I guess I was always meant to be a comedian because I grew up without cable. We had 3 channels, and I grew up just right outside of Pittsburgh. And my parents said, if you live here, you're a thinker. They were teachers. And so anyway, look at how that turned out. And I read the dictionary and the encyclopedia several times in elementary school because that was like required reading in my house. And so when my brother got to high school, he wanted to play football. And we didn't have the sports channel because we only had 3 channels. And as a matter of fact, I'm so old that we had an antenna and we stole Ren and Stimpy one time from Nickelodeon and we got in trouble. We got the fuzzies. So we finally got cable. And my dad didn't want to get cable. He only wanted the sports channel. But if you get one channel, you got to get 40. And so after fighting with the cable company for an hour, okay, and he was screaming at this woman, we got cable. So anyway, long story short, we're enjoying our cable and we're enjoying the scores one night after one of my brother's high school football games because football's king in Western Pennsylvania. And my dad, he hates commercials worse than he hated getting cable. So he changes the channel to A&E, and it's an Edgar Bergen tribute. And Edgar Bergen, in case you guys don't know, and you might be able to see him on the wall behind me, is a very famous ventriloquist. That's actually Candace Bergen's dad. And it was Jeff Dunham, Ron Lucas, and my family members all tried to talk like him, and I was the only one that could do it. And so that Christmas, my mother got me a Groucho Marx figure under the tree.
That's a great story. That's very interesting. Like, that's crazy. Like how you could even do. I mean, that's a skill set. Like how would you suggest somebody, or how would you explain doing that for somebody? Or does that ruin the illusion of the magic?
No, not at all. Actually, I wrote a book about it called "Don't Read My Lips," where I give away all my secrets. It's available on Amazon, and I could teach you to do it a little bit if you wanted.
Yeah, just for fun. Maybe the viewers can too. Like, what would you suggest, like in like a lesson like this? Or how would you suggest?
Well, the first thing you do is your hand is your friend, okay? You know, you're really talking to the hand. And just smile, get in front of the mirror and say, hello. And say, hello, Mr. Hand. And just try that a few times. And just, it becomes more and more natural. Try it for your viewers. I want to see you try it.
I have a beard, so I feel like I can hide my lips a little easier than. I don't know if my mouth's moving at all or anything, but I sound. Hair covers most of my face,
Well, but you're not as bad. Like you're pretty good. You might be taking my job soon, but
I'm the real April Brucker. I like we look like twins. Yeah, we look like twins. We look very alike. So it's like I might be able to confuse your audience.
You never know. It's like there was a guy, and he was a famous mentalist from back in the day, and I forget what his name was. He's long dead. But there was a guy in Australia telling people that he was this famous mentalist, and this was before the internet. And he was doing dates and collecting money. And so this guy's like, what? So people have done it before, so you never know.
So are you in New York City? Is that what you were saying earlier? You said a couple cities. I didn't know which where you're at per se.
Well, I'm in fabulous Las Vegas right now, but I was in New York City for over 10 years. I cut my teeth doing comedy there. And just to let you know how things come full circle, I used to do shows at a place called Maui Taco. And Maui Taco was a Korean taco joint by the Empire State Building. And the ceiling would leak, it was cold, and I had a lot of bad nights at the Maui Taco. So I had a bad night at the Maui Taco because I was horrible at comedy for a long time, and now I'm happy to report that I'm mediocre. So anyway, long story short, I'm coming home from the Maui Taco, and I'm crying, and my mother had begged me to move home earlier that day, and I'm crying in this overhang because it's raining. And this homeless guy says, hang in there, it's going to get better. And when a homeless guy tells you that it's going to get better, you're having a bad night. So anyway, I go home, I cry myself to sleep. Years later, I ended up on a billboard in Times Square with Mae Wilson. And it was the billboard above the overhang that I had that cry in after Maui Taco.
Wow, that's huge. That's quite the that's quite the come up, you know. So highs and lows, right? That's kind of crazy. So like Times Square, that's what, millions of people a day see that. Like that's a lot of people, right?
Yeah, and my stage combat teacher from NYU actually just congratulated me. He said I've been waiting for this day, and he was one of my favorite teachers, and I'm like, yay!
Congrats, that's amazing. I love when people's dreams come true. That's really cool seeing that. And like, how long have you been in the game? Like, you seem like you like are like very into this. Like, not just like some start out person. Like you see, like you have a lot of promo behind you and stuff. I mean, it seems like. So how long have you been doing this? If that's not a rude question to ask a lady.
Oh no, not at all. I've been doing let's see, ventriloquism since I've been 13, comedy since 2007. So I've been in the game for a while, and
I can tell by
I've
your
paid my
energy. It's
thank you. I've paid my dues, you know, and here's the thing. Hello, I was actually on the billboard in April. Who's this handsome bearded man right here? I want to wrap his beard around me, and I want to do nasty things to him. Mate,
yeah,
mate, that's.
I'm a puppet magnet.
Oh, you are a puppet magnet. I want to give you rug burn right now.
Rubber. That's so
Th-
funny.
This is this is May Wilson. Yes, and I want to start a fire with that beard. I'm gonna rub it so hard.
That's funny. Like, pleasure to meet you, May.
Pleasure to meet you too. So, Anthony, have you met a girl that can do this with her mouth? Ah. She's
Only,
very
yeah, in my
forward. Very forward. I'm so sorry.
no, it makes me laugh. No, it's funny. Like, so, how did you develop this character? Like, more or less, like, what inspired this character?
Well, May Wilson was actually inspired by a girl that used to make fun of me in junior high because my mother dressed me in addition to having no cable. So I was a fashion plate, right? And this girl was the queen bee. All the guys liked her. You know, they were always shoving stuff up her shirt. And she used to encourage guys to ask me out as a joke because I also wasn't allowed to talk to boys or date. Like I was really popular. Okay. So anyway, long story short, she and her friends used to sing a song every day. Sing it, May. April's got no friends. April's got no friends. Yeah, that she did. So she was partially the bassist, and then the other girl that was the bassist was a cheerleader that was actually my friend. And this girl was popular, but everybody liked her. She liked everybody, and her name was Erin, and she used to say era 1, era 2, and that was the name of her friend group. And pretty soon there were like 100 eras. We lost track. So, but she was just, her goal was to marry a rich doctor and never work and drive a convertible. And I think she's doing it now. And her hero was Anna Nicole Smith. Isn't that your hero, May? Yes, it is. And I think she should be on a postage stamp. Really. And but you had some unfortunate news, didn't you? Yes, my sugar daddy died unexpectedly at the age of 97. Ah! But didn't you do, but what about his ashes? I'm sprinkling them at Tiffany's. Why Tiffany's, May? That way I can visit him every day. So, Anthony, what's your credit score like? I'm so sorry. Again, she's very forward.
That's funny. No, I actually have a good credit score, May. So I appreciate it.
So you have a good credit score. The next question is, do you have a life insurance policy? May?
Yeah, but I'll probably outlive you. You know, I'm still young, May. So I don't know.
So you're still young? Well, when you say young, how young?
Well, not that young. You know, like 37. You know, not that young. How old are you, May?
You know what? That's still a little too young for me. I'm talking 87. That's my sweet spot.
Now we don't have to wait long for that policy, right? You can just.
You know, I say, this is my opening line. What's your opening line to guys, May? Excuse me, does your estate need an executor?
How's that worked out? So how many marriages have you gone through so far?
How many marriages, May? Well, I've never been married. I've always been the other woman. And when things get tough, I say I'm going to send that incriminating photo to your wife.
That's hilarious. So more of a blackmailer than a wife, huh?
Well, but you're pretty talented, May. Tell him about some of the things you've been doing. Well, April has a chat show. That's right. I actually have a chat show in Vegas called April in Vegas, where I'm not quite as good as you, but I interview people by the pool at the English Hotel. It's available on YouTube. In May, you're a journalist on the show. That's right. It's called Dummies on the Street, where I ask all the hard questions. So, Anthony, the question is, are you good? What? I'm asking. Does
Am I
size
what?
does matter? Are you
Oh,
huge?
am I big?
I'm
That's
so
hilarious.
sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh,
No, it makes me laugh. That's funny. That's funny.
but May, but tell him what else you've been doing. We actually wrote a Christmas song where I'm the star. No, May. The Christmas song was my idea. No, it 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 was your idea. No, it was your idea. See? Gotcha. This is what I live with all the time. But it's called Merry Christmas, I Hate You, and it's an ode to all the people we didn't marry. Have you ever dodged a bullet in your life?
Oh, several. I feel like I'm dodging one right now with May.
May, how do you feel about that? Well, let's just put it this way. Once you go puck it, you never go muck it again. Felt life, baby.
I think I'm more into the Biden doll, you know. I'm just joking.
You're more into, well, he's coming out shortly. But May, what do you think of the election? Well, I'm not into political parties. I just want a party. But who are you voting for? I'm voting for myself. May, you can't vote for yourself. Yes, I can. It's called a vote of confidence. Duh. What do you think of the
How
gag
old are you,
order?
May?
How old am I? Well, I'm old enough to go to the bar, young enough to look good on your arm, and you're not going to end up on an internet registry. I'm the best of all worlds.
That's funny. She looks like a version of you almost. Like it's funny. It's funny, like a different different version of you.
Well, she actually was made to look like me, and my sister had a Charlie McCarthy doll she wasn't using. And May, tell him your secret. That's right. I used to be a Charlie McCarthy doll. That's right. That was my first version. I used to be a guy. So that's either going to make me more popular than ever, or it's going to get me canceled.
Yeah, I think in today's society that's almost standard. I think in the future everyone's trans, right? Like I think
I guess, yeah. Yeah, go on. I interrupted you. Oh, that's bad.
Oh, I don't care. That's what this is. It's just it's not like, you know, I don't give a fuck. I don't have an ego. But no, that's awesome though. Like so what kind, like you've been doing this since you were 13 years old, you said, like ventriloquism?
Yep, ventriloquism since I've been 13 years old.
That's awesome. And it was originally to like entertain your family, you said. Like that was what it was, and then went into like entertaining like everybody else pretty much.
Well, I gotta go meet my sugar daddy, but I'll be back for you later. Mwah. May Wilson, everybody. But actually, it was to entertain my family, and then my mom. I started to do shows at nursing homes, and being a comedian, you can appreciate you. I'm sure you've had difficult audiences. I was doing the show at the nursing home for the old people. I have the Groucho marks. The lady says to me, "Would you like to go to the memory unit?" And I had no idea what that was. 15 years old. And I go there, and there's a lady in a raincoat, umbrella, indoors. And I'm like, okay, maybe she's eccentric. It was Alzheimer's, dementia. And so I'm doing the show with Groucho. And all of a sudden, this woman grabs his arm and says, "Take me with you. Get me out of here. My children put me here. You and your brothers need to take me to Hollywood."
So that's a little too real, huh?
And so anyway, I always remember that. And so years later, I had some difficult Elks Club audiences in Jersey because, God bless the Elks clubs, but those can be interesting. And I was like, you know what? At least my audience knows that my puppet's a puppet.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I couldn't imagine doing a show in a nursing home. It seems like extreme hit or miss. Like it seems like there's probably no middle ground there where like, oh, the show at the nursing home today went okay. You know, like there's probably none of those. It's probably like that was fucking crazy, like amazing or
Mhm.
terrible, right? Like that's what it seems like.
Oh yeah, it was amazing. Yeah, because and that's the way it is. And then I did shows for kids. I did shows for preschools. I did a show for children with autism that couldn't talk. They were surprisingly good. I've done shows for deaf audiences, and I wouldn't say I've done shows for everyone. But I was doing a show in Vegas. You want to talk about a crazy show? Actually, I had one with her, and I'm gonna bring her back to tell the story. We did a 9-month special guest star residency in Vegas. We were the special guest stars in a burlesque show. And we're up, and this guy is and this woman's in the crowd, and she's really drunk, and she's been fighting with the waitress. So anyway, in the act, May and I are roommates, and I say, we met on Craigslist where all the good things happen. And ha ha ha. So anyway, this woman starts screaming, "The Craigslist killer killed my family! The Craigslist killer killed my family!" And she's going off on May. And what did you say, May? I said, well, that might be true, but the Craigslist killer didn't get the last family member. He should have gotten you. And May got a round of applause.
That's so
She's
fucking funny.
She's screaming. The usher has to drag her out. And she's like, I want a refund. The drinks were terrible, and the puppet was obnoxious, and the Craigslist killer killed my family. And the usher at this theater was like this big black guy that had played football in NFL Europe at one point. And he goes, wait a minute, man. You want a refund because you got into a fight with a puppet? So that was one. And then another one, this guy was super duper drunk, and he was off the chain. And he was giving the MC of the show, just talking, and in the middle of the show announced that he'd lost his virginity to his 5th grade teacher. Because,
Holy shit.
why not? Yes, one of those nights. And we get up, and what did you say to him, May, when he tried to interrupt you? I said, excuse me, I'm not your 5th grade teacher. So anyway, so at the end of our set, because Vegas audiences aren't like New York audiences where they like it hard. In Vegas, they're there to party. So we're singing Mr. Sandman. And so at the end, May, you're singing, Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Because we've just done this hard set, and it makes us likable. And all of a sudden he screams, oh my God, the puppet can sing. So anyway, he goes to the lobby to buy a shirt to go get drunk or whatever. And he buys one of our shirts, and he passes out in our shirts. So that was great advertisement.
That's hilarious. Well, in the comments, someone's asking now, where have you played in Vegas?
I did 2 preview weekends of April Unwrapped at Notoriety Theater in February of 2020. We were supposed to open in March of 2020, and we all know how that happened. And then I was at Alexis Park, and currently I'm getting a new resident show ready to launch, so stay tuned. It's called April After Dark.
That's awesome. If I book some Vegas shows, we should do some shows together. Like that'd be fucking hilarious to work with a ventriloquist. Like I've never even done a show. I've never done a show with a ventriloquist. Usually it's just stand-up comedy.
Oh, that would be great. And I like working with comics because I just like talking about comedy. I like jokes. And more than anything, I like people that just love absurdity. And because as a ventriloquist, comedians, like we all have had crazy shows. Like one crazy show we did, and this is a hidden camera show story. We were on What Would You Do? And May almost got beaten up. We were okay. Do you know New York City at all?
Vaguely. I know the neighborhoods and stuff.
Well, we were at the seaport, and the woman that was the homeless woman, and you'll see her in the clip, she was, she lived in Westchester, and her husband was some sort of bigwig, and she was a hobby actor, a SAG-AFTRA card, all that. So May and I had an earpiece in, and the producers are like, "Go for the homeless woman." And so, what did you say, May? I said, "Hey, homeless lady, why don't you get yourself a work ethic and some self-esteem?" And so we're roasting her, and this doorman, he's smoking a cigarette, he's in a bad mood. He comes over and he goes, "Hey, stop making fun of the homeless lady." And so, of course, the cameras are in the trees, and I say, "It's not me, it's her." He goes, "Well, when the cops come, they're gonna arrest the both of yous." I'm like hoping the producers are going to like get out there like fast because he is pissed. So anyway, they come out and they're like, "Hi, I'm John Katsilometes for What Would You Do?" And he goes, "She was making fun of a homeless woman." And he's like, "The homeless woman was an actor." And so he agreed to talk on camera after he had his stress cigarette. And I said, "That's a wrap. Well, anyway, I got to go meet my sugar daddy, but I'll be back for you. You see, because you're famous, I'm famous. Let's have wild sex." May Wilson, everybody. I'm so sorry. You might have to hide from her. She's obsessed with you now.
That's funny. No, she plays my vanity well. No, I appreciate it. No, that's funny though. You know, you've been on a lot of TV shows. I saw like in your bio and stuff. That's like that's cool. You've been able to do that. Like it's you seem like you've done a lot of. I mean, your bio was like fucking long as fuck of like just accomplishments. That's impressive. Like that's cool to see. You know, I'm a ambition and accomplishment kind of driven person. So I like seeing people like win and accomplish their dreams and stuff too. You know, anyone can just like talk about doing stuff, but it seems like you're just doing a lot of stuff, and it's awesome.
Well, and here's the funny thing is I wanted to do stuff, but at one point it didn't look like I was going to do anything because when I met a guy and it looked like I was going to get married. Okay. And he proposed on the third date, which apparently that's a red flag. Who would have thought? And anyway, I thought, well, for as much as I want to do these things, I should just focus on being a good wife, good girlfriend, all that stuff. Well, he started to become really controlling and he made me choose between him and my puppets. And at first, he said my friends hate the puppets and he knew how much they meant to me. And he said, "You're not funny, you're not all that good." And so I thought, well, he loves me. He proposed on the third date. And here I am chasing this pipe dream. So I put my puppets away. And that broke my heart. And the relationship, of course, got worse because surprise, right? He was controlling, he cheated, he was violent, he was all that crap. So finally, I was a shell of my former self. And I got my puppets out. I started to work with them. I walked in the kitchen with May Wilson on my arm and I told him I chose the puppets. And from that point on, I just have used every hour that God sent to be the best ventriloquist that I could be and to do whatever I had to do. And, you know, and just to stick it to my ex.
That's crazy. Yeah, sorry to hear about that. That's nuts. Like,
Thank you. Thank you.
it's weird somebody would be controlling and then cheat. Like they want like that didn't make sense to me. Like somehow like conflicted. It's like they want you to do everything they want and then they want to find somebody else. That's just weird to me.
Well, he went like, and that was weird to me too, because I was always cheating. I was always the bad guy. But then all of a sudden he would like sleep with somebody behind my back and, "Oh, April, you're just jealous," you know? He wanted me at home. But the more jealous somebody is and the more they accuse somebody of cheating, the more they're doing it. It's like, you know. So,
Rejection.
but that
No.
bad,
Yeah, I knew that.
yep. But that bad decision made good comedy. I mean, it got me on My Strange Addiction, and I was performing with May when this really nice looking guy with a camera saw me in Brooklyn and asked if he could take my photo. And I said, sure. And May hit on him and he thought it was funny. It appealed to his ego too, I guess. And anyway, I told him that I broke up with my fiance. I was trying to get a date. And he said, "Well, my girlfriend doesn't always understand my camera." And I was like, darn, you know, so close yet so far. So anyway, a few months later, I get a call, ring a ding ding. "Hey, this is so and so from My Strange Addiction." the production assistant's boyfriend took your photo a few months ago in Williamsburg. Is it true that you left your fiance for your puppets? Yes, there's more to the story, but is it true? Yes. Next thing I know, I'm on TLC. Then the Daily Mail did a story on me, and long before COVID made it cool, I went viral from England to Iceland to Italy, then from Russia, China, India, then from Australia to Singapore to Indonesia, then from Ghana to Nigeria to Kenya, then from Colombia to Brazil to Guatemala. That's right. I'm a celebrity in Guatemala.
Mm-hmm. No, that's awesome. That's cool to go viral in a way like that. That's kind of a funny story too. Like I like the way you phrased that. I like the phrasing on that. That's yeah, that's interesting. Like how people like can just make something out of like whatever. Just your mind. It's like your creativity in your mind. That's your real estate. It seems like it's like I think that's very interesting, and that's something no one could really take from you. No matter what. I mean, even if they try, I think like it'll always come back out. I think creativity is like that. And I think that's very rare and important, really.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm just looking for Mr. Okay. And even the headline said ventriloquist who splashes out 20 grand a year on her puppets. They even have their own bedroom, dumps her fiance after he says it's them or me. And when this headline made it worldwide, I had guys from India calling me on Facebook offering to marry me.
Yeah, those Indian guys are aggressive. They're always saying like Bob, they're saying like bombs and vagina all the time. Like I see that in all those comments. Those Indian guys are like they're always trying to marry. They go straight for the marriage thing. They always go straight for marriage.
Yep.
So they.
Yeah, but they're not the only guys that are aggressive. Hello. I'm gonna grab this interview by the pussy. Donald J. Trump, everybody. So Mr. Trump, go on.
No, I was saying the child in me like laughs when a ventriloquist says pussy for some reason. I don't know. It's just I don't know why the shit like I felt like a 16-year-old when he said when he said that. That's funny.
So, but Mr. Trump, you're having a lot of how's it going in court? Are you scared of prison? Fake news. I'm not scared of prison because you see, chicks dig a guy with 34 felony counts. It helps the rappers with their street cred, and orange is the new Trump.
That looks just like him. That's crazy.
So, are you gonna vote for me in 2024?
Oh no, I gave up voting years ago. I don't think voting's real.
Come on, voting's real because let's just put it this way: I'm master of everything. I have billions and billions of dollars, and the Better Business Bureau gave me a AAA rating. Wait, the Better Business Bureau gave you a AAA rating? Wrong! A triple K rating. KKK.
That's hilarious.
So, but are you a racist? Fake news. I hate to run.
That's hilarious.
So, but what are you going to do if you're reelected? I'm going to build the wall, and Mexico's going to pay for it. And really, so Mexico's going to pay for the wall. All I have to do is go to the Western Union and pick up the money order. What could possibly go wrong? And so you're going to, so what are your plans this summer, President Trump? Well, other than getting out of jail, because I'm Teflon Dawn, I don't know about that. But what are your plans? I'm trying to go to Milwaukee because we need a dummy back in the White House. And why are you going to Milwaukee? It's the RNC, And so we actually have a fundraiser. It's called fundraiser.com. And all the contributions will go towards our transportation, hotel, etc. And so this way, we're going to make America laugh again. And he's going to go to the RNC. And what is one misconception about you, former President Trump? I don't want to ban Muslims. You don't want to ban Muslims. Why? Well, I'm Muslim. Wait, you're Muslim? No, muslin. Silk, cotton, polyester, muslin.
That's clever. That's I've never heard that comparison. That's actually pretty clever.
Yeah, we try. So is this is this your first time meeting a former president?
I think so. Yeah, no, I think so.
And this is not going to be his first trip to the RNC. 4 years ago, we went with Stand Together Against Trump, and he got into a fight with somebody.
How'd that work out?
Okay, well, we were with Stand Together Against Trump, and they were doctors, nurses, physicians' assistants, and we had our talking points. And basically, when somebody came up to you to try to engage you, you said, I don't, it's not that I don't like Trump, it's I don't like what he stands for. Like, we talked about ideas. And so this guy comes up, he's got a cowboy hat, handlebar mustache. In Ohio, because this was in Cleveland, it's an open carry state. So he comes up to Donald J. Trump and me, and he looks like a presidential assassin. Like, this is like Lee Harvey Oswald's son. And he says, "Why do you hate Trump?" I said, I don't hate Trump. I hate ideas. He goes, "I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to him. Why do you hate Trump?" And so what did you say? Fake news. I'm the dummy going to the White House. And so he goes back and forth with Donald J. Trump. And my manager, Clinton Billups, was with us. And Clinton is trying to get like a state trooper, but they see that he's fighting with the puppet and they're laughing. And so finally, after like 3 minutes, he goes, "If that's the way you feel, fine." And he stomps off. And so, yeah, people have a visceral reaction to this one.
I mean, I'm Republican. I think it's funny. You know what I mean? I have no problem with criticism at all. I think a joke's a joke. You know, and I think it's funny as fuck. I think it's very creative. His last name's Tramp. I think that Muslim joke was really fucking creative too. Like, I've never heard those comparisons of fabric and the religion. I think it's funny, and I have thick skin. You know, I think everybody's entitled to their own thing, and it seems like you make fun of both presidents. I mean, like, to me, it seems like you make fun of Biden and Trump.
Yep.
And I think that's comedy. I think
Thank you.
I think yeah, no, I think that's what it is. You make fun of everything. That's what we're here for, you know.
And yep, and I do make fun of everyone. And Roger Stone thought he was funny, and Roger has spent a lot of time with the guy. And
Roger's been on the
Roger,
show probably. Roger's been on the show probably the second most amount of times, other than Sean Danielson from Small Empty Soul, who was on last night. Roger's been on probably like 3 or 4 times. Yeah.
Roger's a good guy. And actually, the way I met Roger was interesting.
I love
met
Stone,
Roger.
yeah.
Stone is a good guy. Stoney's great. I met him through my friend Frank Morano, and I didn't know who he was. But Frank knows everybody. And do you remember Kristen Davis, the Spitzer madam?
Yeah, I know her too. I have her on Facebook. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, she was trying to run for governor in New York, and
I remember that.
I was at the rally, and Roger Stone was her campaign manager. And so Frank Morano said, "April's a ventriloquist." Long story short, he messaged me on Facebook, "Hey, I'm a fan of ventriloquism. Roger Stone loves ventriloquism."
He seems like he would. He seems like he would.
And he says, "April, I don't like your politics, but you're still my favorite vent." And so, you know, and I like Roger. What do you think of Roger Stone? I think Roger Stone is great.
No, Roger's a friend of mine. I definitely I think that for sure. And he's a good guy. He's a friend of mine. I mean, I have his phone number. I mean, for Christ's sake, I mean, he's definitely a good guy. But yeah, no, but like I said, like I don't really get caught up on like. I mean, it's like if you told me your favorite color was blue and my favorite color is green, I don't give a fuck. I mean, it's just good to get to know somebody, and I think everybody's entitled to their own opinion. And I mean, even if you're not, I think the world needs more of that. Like, we have to get along regardless of our belief systems, more so than anything else. And that's more or less where I'm at. I mean, I know we're sucking the comedy out of the room with this conversation, but I think it's an important conversation for people to hear.
It's true, because the fact is, and I got to check in with my parole officer, but this show is as big as my hands. I love it. But I think it's
that's
true.
Fucking funny. That's fucking funny, by the way. That's fucking that's hilarious.
But here's the thing: like, we're going to Milwaukee to make people laugh, hopefully. And but this is a conversation that we need to have, because so many people have become so polarized, and they want to cancel people for disagreeing with them. And it's gotten to the point where people are ending friendships over disagreements. That is not what America's about. And also, people want to cancel a comedian because they don't like the joke. They don't like this. They don't like that. Well, honey, it's called a freaking clicker. Change the channel, okay?
I definitely agree, and like I think only a fool wants everybody to agree with them. You know, I think
Yeah.
I definitely like listening to where people are from, but I don't. I mean, it's not mandatory. It's not mandatory that I agree with everyone I have a conversation with, or I'd like probably only talk to myself. You know, it's just like it's a weird, sad thing that people think they have to be in echo chambers. You know.
Well, and here's the thing, you're not going to agree with everybody you meet. It's just not the way it is. It's like, do you know who Chrissy Mayer is?
Sounds familiar, but I don't know right off.
Well, she's a right-wing comic, and I was on her show and I had a great time. I like Chrissy. I think Chrissy's a nice person. And she thought Donald J. Trump was funny. I was on another show, and these guys are real Trumpers. They thought he was funny. And the thing is that everybody is so busy being pissed off. Okay. Like everybody's at a 10 and they yell at everybody on Twitter. And when you yell at everybody, one, you look stupid, okay? Especially when you do it in caps lock. And second, issues are so nuanced that it's like if you're not going to have the conversation with somebody that you disagree with, you don't learn anything. Like there's always another side to the issue. Like, and I know that I'm going to suck the air out of the room, but I'm very pro-choice. But I say I'm also for adoption because I have 6 cousins that are adopted, and thank God they're a part of my family. I love all of them, And so there's always middle ground when you talk to people, but everybody is so busy canceling everybody now that it's just like, oh my God.
No, I get it, and like I said, like I don't have to. America. Here's how America should be, like as far as like the presidential like campaigns, in my opinion, like how it used to be, where like the two people that run for office, like the person that comes in second becomes vice president, and I think that's very
Mhm.
important, like through most of American history, we need
Yep.
a Democrat and a Republican like more than ever getting along in office right now for the checks and
Mhm.
balances, and that's what president's representative of the people. It's not an ego based thing. It's not a dictator
Yep.
based position.
Mhm.
It's basically you are the highest up representative of America, and that's these people don't act like that. They represent lobbyists, and that's my problem mostly. And
Yeah, and they
I don't know.
represent themselves. They represent themselves. They're
Fair,
not even
fair.
lobbyists themselves.
That's more accurate. I'd actually say. I agree. That's more accurate. And I think that like it's just like one of these things. Like I ran for office and like as a Republican, I was a Republican nominee for U.S. Congress 4 years ago, and people try to fight me in their backyard. I mean, I'm 6 foot.
Mhm.
I'm a huge guy, so it's crazy to even say that to me. But I'm also just saying like they would just try to fight me, and then these are friends of mine. They were cool until I ran for office and all this stuff, and like and it's a very nasty business, and like people are children like with their opinions on it. I feel like more or less, and I think that like I said, like I don't have to agree with anybody. I mean, I think that
Mhm.
I'm like for example, like when you brought up like pro-choice, like I'm personally against abortion, but I do think I am also what I would call like wise enough to know that like that would just become a black market thing, and I think
Yep.
that
Yep.
you're just gonna
Mhm.
you're just gonna do it in your basement. You're gonna just do it like in some trailer park or whatever terminology.
Yep.
Not there's anything wrong with either one of those, but I'm just saying like you're gonna. I mean, it's the same thing with drugs. You're just gonna buy unsafe
Yep.
drugs because drugs are illegal. I mean, that's what's happening. You're
Yep.
buying
And we
like when,
lost the war on drugs a long ass time ago. We lost. Okay. We criminalized the disease. We lost.
you're right. Yeah, most of these people are trying to numb their trauma. Yeah, I know it's
Mhm.
and I think that I think it was made like that because the CIA sells drugs. I think the
Yep.
CIA brings the drugs into the
Oh yeah.
country.
Mhm.
And I think the Vatican and the CIA are the biggest traffickers of drugs and
Oh
prostitutes
yeah,
in the world.
they've always been. They've always been. And here's the thing: the FDA are the worst drug dealers ever. They give it to the
Definitely.
people. They get hooked, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my god, cigarettes. They were telling you that they were good for you in the 40s. All of a sudden they're bad for you. So it's like, and then heroin. They were giving it to people with a painkiller. They were giving it to soldiers. All of a sudden it's bad. Fentanyl bad. They were giving it to people in the hospital. It's bullshit. And so yeah, I'm with you 1,000%. I am with you.
Yeah, no, that's why I like comedians. I feel like comedians are the new philosophers. You know, I think that I think that like you have to be some sort of like really well rounded and understand psychology and people and everything like that to even do what you do. And even I mean by do what you do, I mean be a comedian that gets work and not just a daydreaming liar. You know that and not to be rude, we all start there, but I think we're past that. You
Yeah.
know, I think,
I know. I'm still there.
yeah, we're well. The only difference between delusion and what reality is the participation, I guess. You know, and I think if you're getting shows, you're less delusional. You know, but no, I think that I think the world. I mean, yeah, no, the CIA is like, they'll bust you for doing drugs, and they're like, how do you know I do drugs? I'm like, oh, we have the receipts. Like, I mean, it's just like,
really, you have the receipts, baby.
that's why movies are selling the drugs to the community and then busting the people for doing it for the privatized prison system. Like the 13th Amendment didn't like get rid of slavery, made everyone in prison a slave. And
Absolutely. And they invented crack. They freaking invented crack. That's why it hit the black and brown neighborhoods as hard as it did in the 80s. It suddenly came out of nowhere. You know, civil rights is a thing, and bam, crack.
Yeah, we had Rick Ross on the Freeway Rick Ross from who was in the middle of all that, who basically was the fall guy of the crack epidemic. Yeah, and yeah, we had him on, and like no, I definitely agree with that. I think felon's the new slave, and I think that I think it's kind of just disgusting. Like the 13th Amendment just got rid of indentured servitude and the transatlantic slave trade, but then made it if you committed a felony that you're a slave. So it's like we never really got rid of it, and then we have the Asian slave trade, and we have all these other things. It's a disgusting world full of lies if you focus on it, but I think it's beautiful. I mean the world has beautiful and tragic things happening simultaneously all the time, and that's the trick, I think. Because a lot of people think it's just a nasty world, but it's also a beautiful world.
And that's why, and another continuation of the 13th Amendment is prison work. Those guys, especially the chain gangs, because most of the prison population is black. Okay, they're black or brown. Yeah. The chain gangs, and then when they work, say canning food, license plates, and most people who end up in the system are poor, didn't know their rights. They make less than 30 cents an hour. Okay,
that's new slavery. That's new slavery.
Yep, it's new slavery. It's like, and so when people are like, why should we learn history? Well, guess what? You need to learn history because it explains a shit ton.
No, I agree. I think that I think it went indentured servant, it went slave, it went sharecropper, and then it went felon. And I think that's where we're currently at right now of the American slave trade. And I think it's disgusting, to be honest with you. I'm completely disgusted by it. And and I try and not to get too political or even win you over to my side or anything, but an explanation of what I would tell a lot of these kids out here in St. Louis is I'm like the Republican Party was founded by anti-slave abolitionists. We've always been former Democrats. I voted Obama twice. You know, when I was young, I was a Democrat as well, and full of ideals and all this stuff. And I think that as I got older, I started realizing the Republican Party is basically disgruntled Democrats that see through the policy and the bullshit more so. And I think that from my perspective, I mean, I'm not trying to push that on you. But that's just my perspective.
No, not at all. No.
Yeah, I think that it's just like we get because the idea of the Democratic Party is great. I love the idea of it, to be honest. For the small guy, anti-corporation, anti-Wall Street. Social programs for the people that need it. I love the idea, but typically it's just a lie, and that's my problem with it. And I have problems with the Republican Party too. I'm not trying to act like it's some perfect party. I'm probably more libertarian, but they don't win.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You sound more like a Ron Paul guy.
Yeah, but they just don't win elections. You know, I would be libertarian if they won. You know, and I think that's and I hate saying that because that's the reason why they don't win is because guys like me are like they'll never win and I don't vote for them. And I mean I'm part of the problem. I'm part of the fucking problem, obviously. But I'm just I'm self-aware.
But you're engaged though. You're engaged. And I'll say this though, I'm more of a libertarian socialist. Honestly, because in some ways I'm libertarian, in some ways I'm socialist. But we need a third party in this country because the two-party system is beyond broken. We need a third party for people in that aren't screaming on the left, that aren't screaming on the right. We just need a party in the middle. Hey, I'm here. And speaking of which, do you want to meet the Democratic representative? He's here.
Yeah.
I might have to wake him up. Go on.
I think most people are probably centrists. Actually, I think most people are probably actually in the center. They're forced onto a side because of buzzword issues. But I think most people are probably centrist.
Oh, I do. I know most people are centrist, and I was even talking about that when I was on Newsmax with John Tobacco. Is most people aren't as engaged as most of us. You know, they're in the middle, and they just want to work and have a few things and give their kids a a nice life. And oh my gosh, and I gotta wake the president up. Mr. President? Hello. Is this the young man you told me about? Yes, President Biden time. This is Anthony Rogers. Anthony Rogers, the former Democrat. Yes. How did you know he was how did you know he was a Democrat? Well, I had a dream that one day I would be on the Anthony Rogers show. That's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Well, I sleep a lot and I have a lot of dreams. Yes, because I'm old and my good time's early. So here's the deal. Anthony Rogers is the best show on the internet. I agree. And why do you think he's the best show on the internet? Number one, the young man is a budding politician, and he almost got into a fist fight for his cause. Number two, with a beard like that, you know he's trustworthy. Number four, Mr. President? Yes, number four, who's this again? Anthony Rogers. Oh, Anthony Rogers, yes.
That puppet looks so real. Like it looks just like it looks more like Joe Biden than Joe Biden looks like Joe Biden sometimes. If that makes any sense. Like that looks more like what I think Joe Biden looks.
Well, here's the deal. That other guy in Washington is a puppet. I'm the real President Joe Biden time. And let me tell you, number one, you see, they say that all politicians are puppets. This is for the proof. Number two, behind every great man is a really nice-looking blonde in a shirt that, well, don't tell Jill. And number four, Mr. President? What were we talking about again? The fact that you're the actual president. Oh, that's right. Yes.
That's hilarious. Like, and that's why I like that you go for both. I like that you go for both, but I think that's real comedy. I think that true comedians don't push agendas, even if we have our own beliefs. Like I'll discuss them, but like we don't push them. And I think that that's what real comedy is making fun of the absurdities of both people, because both people are basically cartoon characters. Trump and Biden are both very exaggerative on different spectrums of politics, and I think that's hilarious.
Thank you. When I was a boy in Scranton, my father said, Joey, you should always watch cartoons. That way you can have a good Saturday. And that way you can be a cartoon character. That made no sense, Mr. President. Here's the deal. When I was a boy in Scranton, my father said, Joey, in order to win the presidency, you gotta be on TV. Really? Yes. John F. Kennedy's on TV. But he's not gonna go down in history like you are, because he's not gonna be on the Anthony Rogers show.
We had Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on one time. That's kind of big for me. They haven't even had a presidential candidate. It's huge in America right now, I think.
Well, what do you think of Robert F. Kennedy Jr.? Well, he's not the only Kennedy that's missing a part of his brain.
That's fucking hilarious. What a great joke. That's a great joke.
So, Mr. President, what did you think of JFK? When I was a boy in Scranton and the nuns were beating the crap out of me, they said, look at John Kennedy. He's a good Catholic. He took a licking and he keeps on ticking. That's Timex, Mr. President. Oh, Timex. When I was a boy in Scranton, my father said, Joey, if you want to get anywhere in life, number one, you got to wear Timex. Number two, you got to be on the Anthony Rogers show. And number four, if you get to be president, don't ride in a convertible in Dallas. Oh!
That's hilarious. They're great jokes. These good jokes. That's awesome. And yeah, no, both sides are fucking ridiculous at this point. Like it's just like I think honestly, like.
Yeah, and I mean, but President Biden time, you're going to be the oldest person ever to be president if you're reelected. How do you feel about that? Knock on wood, I'm as quick as a whip. Knock on wood, I'm as strong as an ox. Knock on wood. Who are you again? I'm April. Oh, April! Don't tell my wife Jill. She's watching this.
That's fucking hilarious, man. Like that's a what a you're great. You're great at this. No, you're good at this. That's cool, man.
And I feel like, if you don't laugh at both sides, like you're not, like you said, a real comic. And the funny thing is that there are Democrats that get mad at him, and there are Republicans that get mad at him because they hate Biden so much that they think he's Biden, like some of these Trumpsters that don't get out of the basement. And then the Democrats get mad at me for making age jokes. And it's like, well, he's old. He's an old guy, Like, and he even said that he was old. He roasted himself at the correspondence dinner,
Yeah. No, it's like both parties act like the First Amendment's not real. It's like I think you're able to say whatever you want in this world, and I think as comedians we have to push that. And I think that's good. I think if you're not pissing people off, you're not doing your job as a comedian like more accurately.
Yep. Oh, absolutely, and that's Lenny Bruce, George Carlin. They were always pissing people off. Like they were locking Lenny Bruce up because he was pissing people off back in the day.
Lenny Bruce was nuts for the 50s. I can't I can't believe when I read about that guy. I'm like, what he was a heroin addict married to a prostitute or something. Yep. In the 50s. That's typical Jerry Springer now, but in the 50s that's like crazy. That's just like nuts to me. That's almost status quo today, but I think.
Yeah, that was nuts. And how did you ever see Lenny Bruce? When I was a boy in Scranton, I saw two guys walking down the street. One's name was Lenny, and one's name was Bruce. Okay.
I'm actually working on this thing. Like I don't know how successful it's gonna be or anything, but I'm working on the premise of like how in different generations different words are forbidden. Like in Lenny Bruce's generation, there's like these words you couldn't say. Carlin's generation, there's these words you couldn't say. Today, there's these words you couldn't say, and that's a vague like overstatement of what's going on, or understatement rather. But I think like that concept of those guys, they both had like the words you couldn't say, and they had the balls to say it and explain why they said it and stuff. And I think that's they definitely pushed free speech. Even if they got crucified for it, Bruce really got crucified for it. Carlin was charming enough to get away with it. Like Carlin had this weird, like kind of like you want to laugh with him type thing. Like Carlin was a genius at that. But Bruce didn't care if you liked him or not. He went out there and just like he was going to say all the words. Yep. He had cops arrest him on stage for saying like I think cocksucker got him arrested. Like saying cocksucker got that guy arrested back in the day.
When I was a boy in Scranton, I accidentally said cocksucker in class, and the nuns beat me, and I never said it again, so I can't say.
Yeah, I thought it was weird having presidents after George Bush that were dumber than George Bush. It was definitely weird. I thought George W. Bush was going to be the dumbest president of my life. I thought that was going to happen, and then I don't know what's going on anymore. Like I just don't even know.
Well, I had a history teacher tell me that history would be kind to Bush, and I thought that he was crazy. But then Trump came along, and it's like, well, the bar just got a heck of a lot lower.
I'd argue both of them. Even as a Republican, I'd argue both those guys are. For lack of better terminology, completely retarded. It's like we almost need to get rid of like the office of president at this point. All it does is hurt us. Like I don't see the pros at this point. Nope. Like one guy's too fat to walk upstairs, one guy's too old to walk upstairs, and I'm just like we need to. It's just like we need to get rid of it. It's just like we almost need to get rid of the job. Just outsource it or sign it to a cat or something. At this point, at least like what is this adorable cat? Think of the decline of America, or so it's just like
oh my God! Like, speaking of president, he's sniffing my hair. What are you doing? Oh, here's the deal. My eyesight's going, and it works for my dog Major.
You should get a Jeffrey Epstein puppet. That would piss everybody off.
Actually, we're probably going to do that, and I'm serious. But that's why we're raising the money to go to Milwaukee this summer. It's a free speech thing. We want everybody to laugh. So fundraiser.com, everybody. All the money goes to my travel, my hotel, and if you donate, there are perks if you donate. And if you donate $500, you get to, if you come to Vegas, you get to have lunch with moi. And even we too. Dun, 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 dun. And maybe Mr. Tramp if he's out of jail.
What are your favorite lunch spots in Vegas?
One of my favorite lunch spots, oh gosh. It's impossible to have a bad meal in Vegas, but I love bootleggers. I love bootleggers because you see celebrities there. And I love the Pepper Club at the English Hotel. That's the other place I love. And that's where we film April in Vegas. And I love the English Hotel, and I love the Pepper Club, best sushi in town. It's in the Arts District. And even though it's a dinner spot, I love Hugo's Cellar. I love that place. But you really got to get in there. Like, you got to make reservations and stuff.
Yeah, Vegas has the best food on earth, probably. I think there's not a bad spot to eat there, and like those buffets are crazy too. Like I'm a piece of shit that goes to buffets, so I think they're like you have it's crazy the variety of food there, and then you have like I don't know if they still do, but one of the last times I was there, like they have drinks included in your buffet. I'm like, what the fuck? This town's gonna kill me.
Yep.
But you mean, it's just
oh yeah, and there are less buffets now because of COVID, but But President Biden time, how do you plan to eliminate COVID forever? Number one, I say listen to the doctors and surgeons. Number two, everybody should drink a Corona. Number four, Mr. President. I guess he fell asleep. I'm going to put him to bed real quick, but yeah. But Vegas is crazy with the buffets. I love the buffets. Absolutely.
I want to say one of the former presidents we had. I think he was an Adams. I can't remember which Adams it was. I want to say he was the son of John Adams or I want to say
John Quincy Adams. Absolutely. Yes. John Quincy
Adams. Yes. Okay. I love your mind. That was fast. Yeah. John Quincy Adams. After he was president, he demoted himself to a lower position somewhere in the courts. I forgot what his job was, but he was a lower elected official after president, and he would pass out all the time in his job.
Well, both the Adamses were kind of eccentric. The son, the father and son would both swim naked in the Potomac, and people would see him swim naked, and they'd be like, hey, it's the Adamses. They're swimming naked in the Potomac, and they were like really not like understanding, because remember, this was like the 1700s, like, and but this was like a lot, but they would swim naked. It's just kind of what they did. And John Quincy Adams' wife got him elected because he wasn't the most effusive guy. But Louisa, his wife, was raised in France, really cultured, great painter, and she was such a bon vivant that basically she was the first lady that was a personality. And then you had Dolly Madison, and then you had Monroe's wife, who also got him elected. And so that's why, it's like, yeah, so I'm a little bit of a first ladies expert.
No, impressive. No, impressive knowledge on the president. Like, you even knew which president I was talking about. Like, Quincy Adams was a mid president, but like afterwards he would just pass out all the time. He was just old. Like that shit just made me laugh. I don't know why. He reminds me of Joe Biden's Joe Biden's probably the second president to pass out everywhere.
Oh yeah, him, and there was one president, and I don't know if you knew this, but Harding was actually in a coma for the latter part of his term, because
didn't he die in office?
He died in office, but his wife was running the place because he was so incapacitated that they didn't want the American people to know. And she may have actually helped him on his way out because he was a drunk. He had a child out of wedlock. Like, he was basically the first big dirtbag. And actually, take that back. That was Grover Cleveland. But he was the first dirtbag when there was press and when, the media was becoming more of a thing. And so it's actually speculated that his wife helped him out of this world a little bit,
that probably happened for centuries before women got the respect they like deserved. Kind of, I think. I didn't think it was like it was definitely a man's world for a while, and I think that like women definitely aided these men and gave them a lot of credit. I think that happened for centuries outside of even president. I think there was a really jilted society for a long time. I think. And I think it's the problem with like America right now is people just read history books and see how wrong everything was for a period of time. So they want to complain about it now when I would argue that we're probably the most free we've ever been, like across the board.
Well, we're at least the most aware. But the thing is that
Interesting. I like that.
Eleanor Roosevelt got Theodore elected. Like basically, she was that presidency because he was off with his and even Clinton. These women were working. Well, they're like, get out of here, go with your mistress. I got shit to do. But
especially Clinton. No, in our lifetime, Clinton for sure. Like, I'd say Hillary's a way better political expert than Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton was just a better liar. Like Bill Clinton, he's a more likable liar. Like Hillary's just not likable. Like she, in my opinion, anyway. I think she was until she ran for president in 2016. I think they kind of split a lot of the crowd. I think if you asked somebody in 1996, they would have said that she should be president instead of Bill Clinton, probably. Like a lot of these people. But I think she ruined her legacy with several things, several mishaps and stuff like that.
well, and here's the thing too that's unfortunate is the DNC. It was all women, celebrities. They didn't talk about the issues. She didn't talk about what she was going to do for America. And I just, and it was just, look at how famous I am. And it was just, I don't know, it was like a party. And I could just feel every guy I went to high school with turning that off and just saying, I am not voting for her. I could feel it. And these,
a lot of, oh, sorry, good. Sorry.
No, but these were all like the guys that, not bad guys, but these were the guys I went to high school with. I could feel it. I could freaking feel it,
Yeah, no, I think a lot of my Democrat friends would tell me I wasn't voting for her because she's a woman, but it had nothing to do with it. I like Tulsi Gabbard. I like a lot of women politicians and aspiring politicians, to be honest. And I think I think there's it's interesting. I think women are very intelligent. I have nothing against women. I just think Hillary's a monster from my perspective. But it doesn't make Trump not just magically the answer either, in my opinion either.
No, neither. And actually, and this is the funny thing. I was at, I forget where I was, and this was 2016, and I was with Donald J. Trump, and this woman from Germany says, this is America. You have thinkers, billionaires, and these two were the best you could do.
Yeah, I think Hillary was so dead set on rigging. I mean, Bernie probably beat her in the primary, honestly, and but he took a knee, and then Trump, I think, was just self-promoting because The Apprentice was off the air, and I don't think he even meant to be. I don't think he meant to win. I think he was just a polarizing figure in debates. And I think that he was Trump. In my opinion, is probably the best stand-up comedian, and I like him as a person and a businessman and stuff. But I don't like. I'm on the fence with him. I'm on the fence with him, to be honest, because I like some of his policy. I like how he met with the leader of North Korea and had the balls to do that. That's crazy to me. I like some of his policy he discussed, like bringing jobs back here, like factories and stuff. But I don't think he did that. But also, I think people were trying to get in his way. Same with Obama. Like Obama and Trump had very similar presidencies to me because they both tried to create great change, and the other party held them back, in my opinion. And so I think like Trump probably could have been a better president if he wasn't so kept in check, and same with Obama. I think Obama could have done way more for healthcare, and I think Trump could have done way more for the economy if they weren't so held back. But I do think that they're all con men and liars, and they're all sellouts, and they hate us, and like this general depopulation thing happening with the billionaires versus us. I don't know. I think they all want to kill us and they hate us, and they're all in the same Hamptons clubs, and they pretend, it's like pro wrestling. They all pretend like they're enemies, but they're billionaires,
they're all friends,
and
that. Yep, and basically that's why I make fun of everybody, because what I told somebody once was, okay, you're busting up a friendship. You've been friends with Joe for 30 years and you disagree with him. Trump and Clinton and any of these people are not gonna, like, if you call them at 3:00 in the morning to say, hey, help me change my tire, they're not gonna do it. But Joe is.
I don't know if he is. I don't think I don't think any of them are, to be honest with you. I think they're
Well,
all
not
hate
Joe,
us.
but I'm just saying, not Joe, but whoever your friend is that you're busting them.
Oh,
It's
I
like,
got you. I think you meant the president. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Okay.
no, he's not. He's not helping you at 3 o'clock in the morning. He's in bed. All these freaking people. They're not going to know you. They don't know you unless they want you to. Unless you're voting, then they know you. Then they're your friend. But your friends are your friends, and people are just busting stuff up, and I don't know. Like, that's why we need to laugh, and that's why I need to go to Milwaukee, and that's why everybody just needs to donate to my fundraiser. Plug, plug, plug. Shameless.
No, I respect that. I respect that. And yeah, it's just like it's just a general letdown of how great America actually is. Like the people here are brilliant, and we're underrepresented. And I think that I just don't. I'm not interested in a civil war. I'm not interested in World War III, and I'm not interested. So ultimately, I just think they should shut the fuck up or put a cat in charge. Like this. I think a cat could run the country better at this point, where at least it wouldn't make new laws and take away more rights. I like to be honest. A cat's incapable of like the kind of pain and suffering they try to inflict on the general population. And they're all globalists. I'm not a globalist either. I think they're all globalists, even if they pretend they're not. I'm just not into. I'm a Christian, so I'm against the globalization whole thing. I like that they talk about in Revelation. I'm not into the one world government. I'm not into the one world whatever the fuck that I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. And so, but it's all crazy to me. And honestly, like, and this is the thing. You can live your life, and everybody's just got to do them. And I know that that's really like, but and I have a surprise guest because I have to run in a minute. But I have somebody who wants to say something very special to you.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Is this the Anthony Rogers show? Yes, Dwayne. This is Dwayne Newton. But you look like somebody famous, but you're not. I'm Mr. Las Vegas's second cousin, twice removed. Twice removed? Yes, I'm gonna remove once got casino security and once got the Clark County Department of Health. So you're not Mr. Las Vegas. No, little lady. I'm Mr. Almost Las Vegas. Almost Las Vegas. Thank you very much. Clean up Canal 5. Clean up Canal 5. What's going on? I perform at the Kroger supermarket slot parlor. I'm still on the clock. So, Anthony Rogers, are you like Merv Griffin?
Am I like Merv Griffin? I don't know how to answer that, to be honest.
But have you done any shows with your famous cousin? Yes, as a matter of fact, he gave me his autograph once. Autograph? It was good and gold at the bottom of the restraining order. Uh-huh. So you work at the Kroger supermarket slot parlor. Any feature gigs? Yes, I got hopes and I got dreams. And someday when they get a gaming license, I hope to appear at Whole Foods. But Anthony Rogers, because you've been so good to April, I got a special song for you. Here goes. Shane, Anthony Rogers, Shane. Thank you for having April on again. Though we go on our separate ways, still the memory of your long beard stays for always. My heart says, Shane, Shane, Anthony Rogers, Shane. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you all for coming on the show. I appreciate it. Like I've never, first ventriloquist I had on here, and first puppets I've had on it as well, and I appreciate it. And like fascinated by your craft. I wish you continued success. And then, yeah, if you have things to promote later, you have ideas like comedy ideas later, I'm open to it. And yeah, no, thank you for going backwards in your career and being here. I'll sign your probation papers after this is over, and your community service is over. So I appreciate it, April. Thank you very much.
And it's been a great time. And thank you. And it's been a great time. I'm sorry, I just have to get on stage, but folks, and so that's why I got to run to a show. But folks, donate to my fundraiser, and thanks for having me on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you all watching tonight. That was April Brucker. You can Google her or find her on the internet. I'll be back tomorrow, and God bless you. I love you all, and thank you for watching tonight. I'm getting out of here.